Okay everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Gran Turismo 7, and I am back with a guide for this week's daily race C at a very tricky combination. It's Deep Forest reversed in Group 3. Now, the qualifying car that you're going to probably want to use is either the Ford GT or the Suzuki. They're probably the two most likely to give you a fast lap time. Now, in race conditions though, you are going to use probably the Mercedes, which is a little bit easier to drive, and you will find that the braking points are pretty similar, but you're just going to have a lot easier time in the race with the Mercedes than you will in the race with the Ford. The Ford is usable in the race, but yeah, let's go into the guide for the time trial to try and get you as high up that qualifying position as possible with the Ford GT. So we're on racing medium tyres for this lap. BOP is on and default setup obviously. So flat out all the way through turn 1. Then we're going to come to turn 2 here, where we're going to just rotate the car in, and you want to get your left-hand tyre right the way up to the curb. So watch how we do this. We're going to come in and we're going to just give it a little lift off the throttle as we approach the apex. And you really want to get it turning, and so you're in a straight line before you hit that 100 board. However, you can see I'm slightly out of shape here, going a little bit to the middle of the track. Braking inputs going in just before the 100 board there. Downshifting, getting it into first gear as quickly as we can basically, and you can see I'm at the wrong angle here. You can see I'm following the red line. You really want to be on the ghost line there, the purple line, for better exit speed. So wider in, exit onto the throttle earlier, and then carrying more speed up this hill. I took a too tight line because I was compromised on the entry. You saw me going from the middle of the track. However, we did get a reasonable exit even though I came from the angle. Managed to get the power down reasonably well. I managed to get through the first sector, a 10th off what I was doing if I did it well. So 10th down at this point, and now we're approaching the next braking zone, which we're going to use the curb on the left hand side. You can see this curb, use that as a reference, braking before the start of the curb there, and get your left hand tyre all the way to the left hand side. Use this bit of extra track on the left to widen the line into this right hand corner. So you can see me doing that, you can see the ghost in front doing it. And what this enables you to do is square the car off and get on the power a little bit earlier. So skimming the apex and then early throttle as possible. Really get on that throttle and carry the speed. Use a bit of the exit curb as well. And then use as much width on the entry into this right hand corner as possible. You're not going to get on the brakes here. You're just going to give a little lift off the throttle. So a little lift off the throttle. Try and get that right hand tyre onto the curb. Then back onto the throttle as early as you dare. And straight line over this curb as much as you can. Just be careful you don't go and hit the barrier. It's very easy to do. And now you're working your way into this really tricky section here where you're going to get onto the brakes very lightly just as your right hand tyre is on the white line there, and you're going to use a bit of the Astro on the right hand tyre, and then you're going to try and rotate this car into this left hand corner. So you're on the brakes, and watch what we do. A bit of throttle input here to control the way the car handles, and then down second gear, try and hold this white line as close to the white line as you possibly can, then on the throttle as early as you can, using some of the exit there. You can see getting very close to the barrier on the right hand side, and then on the brakes really early before you exit in the tunnel, way before the exit of the tunnel, to rotate this car into this curb. And now this is a really tricky section. You're going to be using a lot of curb on the right, so up into third gear, get the right hand tyre over the curb on the right. You can see the ghost actually takes a lot more than me, and this enables you to rotate the car into this next left hand corner, which again I've given a little lift off the throttle. You can be a bit more aggressive than what I'm doing here, but this track is very tricky for me. I do struggle here, but we managed just about to get it into fourth gear, keeping that throttle down after the little lift. And this is again another corner you have to be extremely careful of, that you don't run wide there, and then that compromises you on the exit of running wide on this corner here. Now we're going to use the 50 board as a reference for our braking just before the 50 board for the final and possibly a very important corner here, because you want to carry the speed in, but you also want to get it rotated and on the throttle as early as you can. You can see I'm a little bit late on the throttle there. You can see the ghost in front of me getting a little bit better exit speed than I do, but we do manage to get it planted onto the exit and then carrying the speed all the way to the finishing line. We're going to go over the line. I think it's a 24.2, which is not the worst lap ever. It's definitely got potential to get into the 23s, this car, for me driving it. And I think a lot of people will get 23s if they push this time trial. Whether I do any more time trial on this, I'm not too sure. But yeah, watching the lap again from the chase camera, you can really see how I get this slightly out of shape through this corner. You really want to get it holding that left-hand side a little bit more than what I do here. So you can see a little bit of moment. We're coming from more of a middle line than I would have liked. That's compromised my entry and exit a little bit there. But what I did do was actually get the power down and use the full width of the track, and that compensated a little bit for it. But I was a 10th down going through the first sector on what I'd done previously. So yeah, there's another 10th there in the first sector at least. and then we're going to work our way, you see, again, using that curb on the left-hand side, again, using the full width of the curb. You can see I'm actually over the white line there, which is just giving us a wider line into this section. And then again, full width of the track, right-hand tyre onto the curb, powering our way over the curbs, and then lining it up for this going. You can see how we use a bit of the Astro, and then the throttle and the braking together there just to stabilise the car. You could see how the car went a little bit loose, but again, maximum width of the track, and this is what this track, you really need to take advantage of the track limits to get the lap time out of this track. I'm still not really taking as much as I probably could off some of these corners, and I'm losing slightly, but you can see again into that final corner, could have been a little bit wider to get the exit speed a little bit better, so we came out the corner a fraction quicker, but overall not too bad. Anyway, let me know in the comment section if this track guide has helped you out. Hopefully you're enjoying this week's racing. Do subscribe to the channel and hit that like button. I'll see you all again soon. Bye everyone.